The fifth persecution commencing with Severus AD 192. Severus, having been recovered from a severe fit of sickness by a Christian, became a great favourer of the Christians in general, but the prejudice and fury of the ignorant multitude prevailing, obsolete laws were put in execution against the Christians. The progress of Christianity alarmed the pagans, and they revived the state of calumny of placing accidental misfortunes to the account of its professors. AD 192. But though persecuting malice raged, yet the gospel shone with resplendent brightness, and firm as an impregnable rock withstood the attacks of its boisterous enemies with success. Tertullian, who lived in this age, informs us that if the Christians had collectively withdrawn themselves from the Roman territories, the empire would have been greatly depopulated. Victor, Bishop of Rome, suffered martyrdom in the first year of the 3rd century AD 201. Leonidas, the father of the celebrated Origen, was beheaded for being a Christian. Many of Origen's hearers likewise suffered martyrdom, particularly 2 brothers named Pluticus and Cyrinus. Another Cyrinus, Heron, and Heraclides were beheaded. Rheus had boiled pitch poured upon her head and was then burnt, as was Marcella her mother. Poteniana, the sister of Rheus, was executed in the same manner as Rheus had been. But Basilides, an officer belonging to the army and ordered to attend her execution, became her convert. Basilides, being as an officer required to take a certain oath, refused, saying that he could not swear by Roman idols as he was a Christian. Struck with surprise, the people could not at first believe what they heard. But he had no sooner confirmed the same than he was dragged before the judge, committed to prison, and speedily afterward beheaded. Irenaeus, Bishop of Lyons, was born in Greece and received both a polite and a Christian education. It is generally supposed that the account of the persecutions of Lyons was written by himself. He succeeded the martyr Pothinus as a bishop of Lyons and ruled his diocese with great propriety. He was a zealous opposer of heresies in general, and about AD 187 he wrote a celebrated tract against heresy. Victor, the Bishop of Rome, wanting to impose the keeping of Easter there in preference to the other places, it occasioned some disorders among the Christians. In particular, Irenaeus wrote him a synodical epistle in the name of the Gallic churches. This zeal in favor of Christianity pointed him out as an object of resentment to the emperor, and in AD 202 he was beheaded. The persecutions now extending to Africa, many were martyred in that quarter of the globe, the most particular of whom we shall mention. Perpetua, a married lady of about 22 years. Those who suffered with her were Felicitas, a married lady, big with child at the time of her being apprehended, and Revocatus, catechumen of Carthage and a slave. The names of the other prisoners destined to suffer upon this occasion were Saturninus, Secundulus, and Satyr. On the day appointed for their execution, they were led to the amphitheatre. Satyr and Saturninus and Revocatus were ordered to run the gauntlet between the hunters, or such as had the care of the wild beasts. The hunters, drawn up in 2 ranks, they ran between, and were severely lashed as they passed. Felicitas and Perpetua were stripped, in order to be thrown to a mad bull, which made the first attack to Perpetua and stunned her. He then darted at Felicitas and gored her dreadfully, but not killing them. The executioner did that office with a sword. Revocatus and Satyr were destroyed by wild beasts. Saturninus was beheaded, and Secundulus died in prison. These executions were in 205 on the 8th day of March. Speraptus and 12 others were likewise beheaded, as was Andocles in France. Asclepiades, bishop of Antioch, suffered many tortures, but his life was spared. Cilicia, a young lady of good family in Rome, was married to a gentleman named Valerian. She converted her husband and brother, who were beheaded, and the Maximus, or officer, who led them to execution, becoming their convert, suffered the same fate. The lady was placed naked in a scalding bath, and having continued there a considerable time, her head was struck off with a sword. A.D. 222. Callistus, bishop of Rome, was martyred. A.D. 224, but the manner of his death is not recorded. And Urban, bishop of Rome, met the same fate. A.D. 232.